First off, congratulations on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Now, this year, it's great because the fans could vote and you could see the results online. Were you checking like every day to see how Hart was doing in the poll?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was really cool. Well, our fans have been sort of screaming about it for a few years already, so it was really sweet when we sort of finally nabbed it, because we were starting to think, I don't know if that'll ever happen, you know.
It's there.
It's there. It's going to happen.
Speaking of the induction, I know Ann had come out and said the original band wouldn't be playing at the ceremony, and then a story just came out a couple days ago on Roger Fisher's Facebook that says the original band is getting together to play at the ceremony. So what's the real story on that?
Well, the real story is that nobody's supposed to be talking about it to begin with. But we're going to represent the original lineup will be represented, and our current band, who we've been with the longest, will also be represented. So I think we've finally sort of found a way for, everybody to grab their glory.
Well, that's fair.
Oh, I think it's totally fair, yeah. And the original lineup were the founding fathers, as they say, and we all worked really hard together to get somewhere to start out with. And then it's good to, to honor everyone that's helped us get where we've come now from that time as well.
And for a fan of the band, it's going to be great to kind of be able to see Hart through the ages, as it were.
Yeah, it sort of is. That's the way it kind of works, because when you're around for 35 years, everybody had a lot to do with it, including us, but everybody else too,
And it flies by. It doesn't feel like 35 years.
That's right.
And Chris Cornell is going to be inducting you. How did you decide on Chris as the guy to usher you in?
Well, we were kind of, working with the committee, and we had expressed some of our desire to bring, if we could bring some of our Seattle brothers in, that we've just been part of we've been part of each other's lives since the 90s. And so I think that's how Chris Cornell was contacted, because, he's kind of visible right now, and he sure can't sing.
Are we going to see a Chris Cornell Hart team up, maybe?
Well, I hope.
All right.
We're hoping to do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then, in a couple of years, you'll probably be able to return the favor and induct Soundgarden.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
I could see that happening.
I could see it. Those guys are really incredible. I mean, they took a hiatus for a while, but now they're back. And
yeah, in a big way, too. That album is killer.
Yeah, I got to check it out still.
Yeah, you do, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're
I always love their stuff.
Getting ready to hit the road. Take that with you, because you'll enjoy it.
Okay, I'll load it down.
2012 was such a huge year for you guys, and the performance at the Kennedy Center honor ceremony got so much buzz. It was phenomenal, and you brought tears to the members of Led Zeppelin.
I know, God.
Did they talk to you after the show, and what was said? I mean, I've never seen, especially Robert Plant, that emotional.
Well, afterwards, Jimmy came up to me and to Ann, and to me he said, "You played that so great. You played that so great tonight." And I was like, "Oh my God, coming from you, that's just everything." And he thought it was wonderful, and the performance was perfect, and it was just a really well-executed version, And then John Paul Jones was really thrilled, too, and then Robert Plant did say, "My God, that was not what I expected, because I've grown to hate that song. I just hate it. But because people just murder that song, they just do it wrong. But this time it was just perfect. Really cool.
You can't get better compliments than that.
I know. It was almost too much to take after even after the performance. It was even, oh my God,
And then,
how can this be real?
And then I read after the performance was when you learned that you had officially were going to be inducted.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
That's a crazy night. Led Zeppelin singing your praises, and you're going into the Hall of Fame.
That's called one killer day at night.
And the response to that cover was so good. Are you thinking of now working it into the live shows as you're going to go out on tour?
We're thinking about working it in, if we can, for Canada. We're not sure if we can, but definitely when we hit the States, yeah.
Last year, also, again, 2012, huge year, you released the Heart biography, Kicking and Dreaming, a story of heart, soul, and rock and roll. When you were going back and doing that book, what was the hardest part for you to kind of revisit and put on paper?
Oh, well, there was a few hard parts, but mainly, my struggle with fertility was difficult to relive because that took a long, long time, and there was a lot of sacrifice, and, I wasn't with the band for quite a few years, and it was just, as a woman trying to have a life, I was working in films when that was really rewarding, but I just never thought I'd have trouble that way ever in a million years, and I know some people that are going through that too, and, I just remember how painful that is, and it's a hardship, and had some painful things, and shared more than I know she'd ever shared before about her personal struggles. But then there's so many, really exciting, uplifting, big, wonderful things, too, about life. So, the whole book itself, the way it turned out, I think, was really, really cool because it shows a lot of the hardships and some of the painful stuff, and also some of the kind of illicit rock and roll party kind of stuff. But you come away with the feeling of who we are, which is family. We're family people who've leaned on each other in our family in order to survive, So it's more of that type of story than it is anything about sensationalized rock stuff or really, sad stuff. It's all of that stuff, but it's mainly, I think, about strength.
And when you talk about family, you have a family, and when you go out on the road, how hard is it for you when you're away?
It's hard. I've been getting really scrappy about being gone from home, more and more so, because, I can't be out on the road and miss my kids growing up. When we play in the summertime, we've been able to bring them out, get an extra bus, and bring the kids out with us for a lot of it. But when it's the school year and you're trying to just, it's hard to be gone for 19 days, you know what I mean? Doing it for a long time, but most of that time we didn't have kids that were, even when the kids are really little, it's not going to matter the same as when they're a little bit bigger, and it matters now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it matters more and more.
Talking about, with the book, you were saying, it's more of about a family and stuff like that, but all the time we hear stories, and especially in books from, the male rock stars, about women trying to get backstage and the crazy things that they do. Guys must have tried some crazy stuff to get backstage at Heart shows. Oh,
it's interesting about guy groupies compared to girl groupies. I think girls are much more, easy. They're more obvious, Guys were fewer and farther between because they're more shy, I think, by nature. So therefore, usually they're more sort of romantic and poetic. They're like, here's a poem, here's some chocolate, here's some flowers, here's a nice silk scarf, They're more with the hat in their hands. And women are not. Those kind of, gold diggers are they'll do anything. Women are the ones to watch out for.
Getting a nice poem or a box of chocolates is better than some of the stories I've read in some of the other books.
No kidding.
When you're out on the road now, what do you like to do to pass the time when you're on the bus or whatever? What's your go-to activity?
Well, usually it needs to be mindless. Whatever it is, it's mindless. Because you expend such a big energy on stage and you're sort of drained after. So the best thing is to just kind of talk to your kids on the phone or catch up to your emails and, not watch anything on TV that's too involving. Sometimes we just put on the jewelry network or the cooking network and just kind of stuff you don't have to listen to watch because your ears are tired too and all that. So we just sort of zen out on the bus, me and Ann and Lynn and our sister, and, just kind of try to have a little snack and go to bed early. And, sleep is not easy on a tour bus.
I can imagine
Nobody
not.
ever fixes the roads. And so it's always quite a chore to get any sleep.
Well, you've managed to keep it together.
Yeah, no, I'm not whining, mind you.
No.
It's just, the show is everything. That's the only thing there really is to do to get right. The rest of it is just getting to the next place in one piece and doing another show.